Hey everyone, Justine here, the Twilight Stamper, and today we're going to be creating a card that I designed for the AAA challenge blog, and this week it's the Springtime Challenge, so I hope you'll join us this week. I'm going to start off the card by masking off an area that I'm going to use to put those butterflies in. I'm using 3M Post-it tape. You want to make sure that these are really straight on there, and it's probably a lot easier to use a crafting mat that has some grid lines that you could follow. Unfortunately, I don't have one here, and so I'm just eyeballing it. It turned out quite well though, so I'm not too concerned, but it did take me a couple of tries to get it right. After I'd got those areas straight and I masked off the area that I was satisfied with, I laid down a bunch of the butterflies from the Elegant Butterfly set from Clearly Besotted Stamps. I just put them randomly along the card and I fit them all here. There's 6 outline butterflies on this stamp set and a couple of solid images as well, but I decided to just use the outlines and emboss them. So I picked all of the stamps up using my Fisker stamp press. That is definitely the advantage of using the stamp press over a block. I inked this up using Versamark ink, and I made sure that I inked mostly the middle of the stamps on this because those are what I'm going to be using. I lined up my butterflies and I stamped them onto my card. Next, I wanted to emboss this using white embossing powder. I'm using Ranger fine embossing powder, and I embossed that using my craft heater. Next, I went in and I used some distress inks. I started off with mustard seed and started adding some color over the butterflies. You can see how awesome it looks as it resists that embossing that we did. Next, I went in with spice marmalade and I blended the orange and the yellow together. You want to make sure that you don't get any on your card, and you may want to mask off the bottom of your card if you're not used to doing this technique. Next, I went in with one of the newer colors, Cracked Pistachio, and I went in over on the bottom corner and on the top. It kind of created a green color when I mixed it with the orange, and so I didn't want to mix those and blend those too much. Next, I grabbed picked raspberries, some pink, because I thought it needed some of a more vibrant color to add to the card, and I did that on the edges, and I inked some over top to create some purples. Now comes the fun part of taking off the masking. All I have to do now is add my sentiment in my card base. I inked up this heartfelt thanks using Onyx VersaFine black ink and stamped that in the bottom corner. Then I took a piece of 8.5 by 5.5 cardstock and scored it at 4 1/4 to make a black card base using Simon Says Stamp black cardstock, which is my favorite black cardstock to use that I've found so far. I added some glue to the card front that we created before with the butterflies on it, and I stuck that into the middle of the card base, leaving about 1/4 inch of black cardstock around to frame the card. I think that the black really makes the color stand out the most. I made sure I pushed down really hard because my paper did warp a little bit during the embossing process. So that's the end of my card tutorial today. I hope you'll join us for the challenge and you enjoyed this card tutorial. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Thanks so much.